Coming up, we've got an exclusive interview with racer and legendary automotive manufacturer Steve Saleen. And we have a fun game called Hit the Gas or Sniffing Gas. Plus, we've got Molly in the field, part of her Fast and Fabulous series. And welcome back to Driver's Talk. I'm Rick Titus. That's Jay Dalton. And of course, just behind us there, making us sound a lot younger than we actually are, Spencer Crick. Okay, we got to talk about news. This is our news segment. Remember, 1 in every 5 jobs in this country related to the automotive industry.
Did you hear about all the cars in Germany getting impounded
on
the Euro rally?
Yeah, it was a good week not to be on the Autobahn. Let's just go with that.
About 120 cars set out. 107 were impounded in Germany when the German authorities noted that a large pack of these cars were going down the unrestricted Autobahn at 155 miles an hour.
Okay, about norm.
That was considered racing,
apparently,
as far as the German authorities were concerned. There was no set route. Some of the cars slipped through and actually made it all the way.
Not these 100.
Not these 107 were impounded. Yeah, so note to self, don't travel in a pack of 155 miles an hour. You've got a bit high performance news, don't you?
Yes, I do, because that's the talk these days. And of course, Chrysler's certainly been leading the charge with their Hellcat series and whatnot. Well, their Hellefant, the Hellefant 1,000 horsepower crate engine, if you're hoping to get one of those, you missed the opportunity. They sold out in 48 hours.
What do you want to bet that half of those motors never get put in cars? They're just put in garages and kept as collectibles.
But for the cars that they make it into, I think they're going to be right rapid.
Yeah, they should be. Can I tell you one about Turo.com? Turo.com is where, essentially, like Airbnb, you rent your neighbor's car. Your neighbor down the street has got his car on Turo.
I've rented my neighbor's car out to people before, and it turns out they could be offended by that if they're not involved in the deal.
I hope you kept the money. But apparently, the name of this story is called Turo Tax, because the Turo people that are renting out their cars aren't paying the taxes involved with normal rental cars.
Well, even politicians are going to come out from underneath their rocks to come. If there's another way to collect money, they're going to be on top of it.
A company called KGB captured some photographs of an F-150 suspected to be the 2021. But the interesting thing to note is on the trailing edge of the cab, up on the roofline, you're going to see someone playfully put a spoiler up on the roof, and not just a little spoiler. I'm talking about a spoiler like a 69 Trans Am Camaro spoiler. And I'm sure they have done that just to play with people and to see what on earth
those truck
reaction.
guys wouldn't do that, would they?
I know they wouldn't do that. No, there's no spoiler on a 2021 Ford F-150. No way.
Okay, you got time for one more, buddy. That's it. You want to talk about that Ford involvement with the electric truck?
Ford's involvement with Rivian.
Yeah.
Rivian is a company that has come out of nowhere.
Right.
It debuted on the scene a little over a year ago and announced to the world they would be building an electric car and an electric truck built on a skateboard chassis. For those of you that don't know what a skateboard chassis is on an automobile platform, it means 4 wheels, the battery pack, the motors involved, and a very, very low platform, and you can put any kind of bodywork on top of it. What's more interesting is that Rick and I were at the Detroit Auto Show when Larry Burns from General Motors brought out the entire skateboard idea in 2002. So why are we jumping from 2002 all the way to 2019? Something is going on behind the scenes here that we're not aware of. Hey, Rick, we got to get out of here, man.
Let's do it. Hey, stick around. We've got an exclusive interview with Steve Saleen. General tires are race-proven for high-performance handling. Get a set of Generals today and own the road tomorrow. We thought it appropriate in our brand new studio to thank the host, Steve Saleen, for letting us be here, my friend. We appreciate it.
Brings back old memories.
Doesn't it bring back a lot of memories?
And I to be working a little closer together, so it's really exciting for us as well.
Most people know that Steve's a manufacturer of exotic and supercars, not to mention his Mustangs and F-150s. Jay and I have the advantage of having raced with you. And I want people to know more about Steve Saleen, the race driver, and the way you got started, the kind of cars you've driven, and the success you've had, because I don't think people understand how good a race driver you are. Talk to us about a rather auspicious beginning when you were much younger.
First of all, I grew up in Southern California, and specifically, I lived in Whittier and attended Whittier High School. That's the same high school that President Nixon graduated from, and also myself and John Lasseter of Pixar. So I've basically lived here all my life. And I wanted to become a race car driver when I graduated from USC. At the time, I had a Shelby Mustang. Originally, the car came white with blue stripes. When I purchased it, it was white with black stripes. Then I painted it like the Hertz rental car, black and gold. And then after a short period of time, I decided I'd go for the big bad green with black stripes for a while. And then finally, I changed the color again to candy apple red with gold stripes. And I started modifying it and got it much more aggressive. And one night in July, after I had just graduated from college, lived at home still, couldn't afford anything on my own yet, other than my car.
I'm just going to say, but a Shelby Mustang.
But other than my car. So I was getting it ready to go to my first test with it, and it happened to be July 6, 1971.
Oh, this left a
Specifically,
mark.
And it was at dusk. We lived in Whittier, and it was at the base of the canyon there.
Yeah, there's the hills, and people don't realize.
I thought, okay, well, I'll really give it a good test going down the canyon. And as any normal Southern California race enthusiast, I always kept my helmet in the back seat.
Here we go.
And I had my Nomex gloves, and I had full race harness and cage in the car. And so I put on my helmet, tightened my seat belts, and put it in gear and went on down the canyon. And I was going really pretty good, and I knew the canyon road quite well.
I'm not shocked. Yeah.
But there's a section there where you can look ahead and make sure no one's coming up, and then you can cross the double yellow line to apex here and carry more speed. And as I approached it, I look ahead, it's clear. I came around the corner and whoa, somehow I missed a family driving a station wagon. It was Dad and Mom and daughter and son and a big German Shepherd in the back of it that I was going to have a head-on collision. And I was in top gear going flat out. Fortunately, I was quick enough on the reflexes to where I was able to turn and swerve to miss them. The problem is, though, I'm doing a hard right in a corner that's making a hard left. And just like the movies, there was a guardrail, and bing, I went through the guardrail and off the cliff, down a 200-foot cliff. I thought I was actually driving it down the cliff, but as it turned out, in hindsight, I was hitting some of the trees and the bushes with the front wheels that gave me that sensation, and went into the riverbank down below, and my head went through the windshield. But fortunately, I had my helmet
Yeah, I
on,
was going to say the helmet.
which has probably saved my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I bent the steering wheel, my left knee came loose and went into the dash, and I blacked out for a little bit. Then I came through. I couldn't get out the driver's side because it was all mangled. I remember crawling through the passenger side out the window, and when I got to the top of the road finally, the family had stopped, and the dad had gotten out of the car, and he was going, oh my God, and he's sitting down. And my first words to him was, boy, I bet I scared you. And then he says, no, sit down, he says, and he goes, you're bleeding out of your ear. And I go, oh, you're right. And then when I remember getting in the car in the back seat, and the whole family just went to, plus the German Shepherd, just went directly to the opposite side of the car. And they drove me the rest of the mile down, and we got out of the car. I went in the back door and go, hey, Dad. And he's going to my dad, oh my God, you can't believe it. He drove off the cliff, and it's lucky he's alive. And I think the adrenaline had worn off
Now it's
to where
bad.
my dad then took me down to the hospital, and I spent a week there in the hospital.
Oh my God.
Obviously, that's when the brain damage was done.
Okay, so that's okay. So now we
so-
know that
so we
moment.
can get that out. Okay,
That's the
So,
initial brain damage, right?
Yes. But I didn't break anything, but I mangled my left knee pretty good. There wasn't much left of the car. So we bought a new Shelby Mustang 66 for $300. But there was no engine in it, but I was rebuilding the engine and took some of the parts that I had.
I was going to say, was there stuff that could come off your other car?
Yeah, there's some of the parts did.
Yeah.
And rebuilt that for racing. And then we towed the car up to the spot I went off the cliff in and started it up there for the first time. again when I got it
Very
rebuilt.
interesting
So it
psychological.
just
Steve, is that the I'm sorry moment?
I
I'm
don't know.
sorry
I just
that
thought it was
this-
appropriate from the ashes to the new generation.
Very interesting. I would not have thought of that.
In
Yeah.
doing this. From there, we went for the first test out at Ontario Motor Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
And halfway through the second lap, the engine went coughed, and then the motor kind of was running rough. We popped the hood, and one of the spark plugs had broken in half. And I go, wow, have you ever seen that before? No, not really. Turns out that the spark plug broke in half. That was because the piston came unglued off the rod and went up and hit the spark plug to break
it
it.
out.
So the engine was toast after one lap. And again, I don't have a lot of money, so I'm really working during the day and saving up my money to buy the engine. So we took months to yank it out and spend the time in rebuilding the engine again. This time, rather than to break it in, I thought with one of the guys helping me, Bill Miller, who does Miller rods now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we took the road racing car down to a drag strip, which really looked like a fish out of water.
I got to think.
And I said, you drive it because I want to look at it, but don't drive it hard, just do it easy. So I went up in the grandstands. They staged us against a Corvette, and the Corvette took off, and then he got it, revved it up a little bit, and he made it, I don't know, maybe 6-8 feet off the line, and black smoke just came out of the rear, and it was like the tailpipes, and I was like, oh my God. And he was about a third of the way down by the time I got to the grandstand, and the announcer goes, it's on fire. And I look at that and go, holy cow. So how did this happen? He ran all the way down, oiled the whole Lions drag strip. I remember all the funny car guys coming to us later that night, just yelling at me for wrecking that lane. What turned out is that we never really built up oil pressure, and the oil pressure, the remote filter wasn't strong enough, so it blew off the whole filter off the oil line instantly onto the headers, which is what caught fire and all the black smoke, but it drained the whole engine because he didn't take his foot out of it.
Oh, man,
and
oh,
so
man.
we wrecked that engine. And I went through another sequence of months to save up money to rebuild it, and we go, all right, this time instead of doing it, we're just going to go a private day out to the local racetrack here in Southern California, Willow Springs. And take our time. We got ready to run the car. I got up to fire it up, ran fine. Perfect, sounded great. There was very aggressive sound to it. I went to push in the clutch, and all of a sudden you hear clank, 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 clank. I let out the clutch, and it stops. I push the clutch in, clank, 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 clank. I let it out, and it stops. What happened is I didn't get the spacing of the thrust bearing. So when I pushed the clutch in, it pushed the pressure plate, pushed the crank forward, and all the rods went into the block, is what was making all of that noise. So we didn't even get it off the trailer when I went through, and I wrecked another engine. And at this point in time, I'm sitting there going...
easily.
at this point in time, I'm sitting there going, wow. Well, there was other words I said, but anyway. So months later, I get the new engine back together. The heck with taking it out to testing. I'm just going to go directly to the race. We then take it to Riverside Racetrack, run the practice, car worked fine.
And you hadn't driven there before?
No, I had not. Show up at the first race, get the green flag to go race. There was like 10 or 12 cars in my class. Lap after lap, I worked my way up, and I ended up winning the race.
I heard you won
And
your
so
very
I
first
won my
race.
first race I was ever in. So I wasted all my time with all this practice.
That testing stuff
I should have
just-
just gone directly to racing, and then it's been downhill ever since. Yeah.
We're going to go to break right now, but when we come back, our segment called Hit the Gas or Sniffing Gas. And welcome back to Driver's Talk. Rick Titus, Jay Dalton, Spencer Crick, and our boss, Greg Stacey, for a segment you labeled Hit the Gas or Sniffing Gas. Scary.
Well, let's give a little recap of last week to see where you gentlemen are. Can you cue that up, Spencer?
16.5 and for a no sale.
I'm going to go 17 for a no sale.
Okay.
Some
Hey,
fool's just going to have the thing
Well,
and
the
pay foolish
thing
money.
is, we may be the fools in this because that may still have enough collectability.
I think the key words there, the takeaway words, were said by Mr. J. Dalton. We may be the fools.
I knew it. I knew this wasn't going to end well.
No, just, can you smell that?
Yeah,
I think you guys have been doing a little huffing.
How far wrong did we go?
How far wrong? That's like saying, is like getting a D plus, does that mean you're extra dumb? Or does that mean you were almost at a C? So let's find out.
Wow. And that was a sale.
It was a sell. It actually sold for 23. Congratulations on this contest. Both of you were sniffing gas.
The best part about this, G-Man,
Yeah.
is that you've come up with something that's kind of challenging here. And I have a feeling you have even more challenging cars for us this week.
Yeah, well, we're going to queue up another car. You guys probably are more familiar with this than myself.
We like this.
Yeah.
So we have a 1971 Lotus Elan Sprint.
Lotus Elans didn't change a lot.
They didn't.
From 64 all the way through, I think they built them all the way until the mid-70s. They didn't change a lot. This happens to be very, very carefully taken apart, put back together again, and beautifully detailed. There are so many weird things that can happen with this car. The first thing I would do is I'd pull those seats forward and I'd look to see if a half shaft has come undone and
At
come
any time.
through the bodywork. That's item one.
You know what I noticed, though? Even the trunk lid and the doors, they don't seem like they align properly. I don't know if they're that way from the factory. It's a fiberglass body, correct?
Greg, you're very astute with that. They will never line up. The hinges are completely flimsy on this.
I actually thought the fit and finish was pretty good for an Elan on this one.
Tell me about the motor. I mean, it looks gorgeous. It looks like it's got dual Webers, dual overhead camshafts.
Dual overhead cams. It was an early Ford engine, the 1600 cross-flow engine. The most important thing that I would want to know is who has done the mechanicals. By the look of this car, I'd be more likely to think that it's a famous engine builder that's been on top of this one.
Look at the red stitching on that leather dash. You can't beat that, folks.
Yeah,
you
no,
can't
this thing
beat
is
that.
good.
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous car. Love it. So, Mr. Dalton,
I'm going to say 75. I think it's going to sell.
I'm going to go $60,000, and it's going to be close on the sale.
all right, well, let's see if those numbers are better than last week. So we'll find out on our next episode who hits the gas and who's sniffing gas.
I don't like that smirk, I got to
He's
tell
having
you.
fun.
He is having fun, but we do enjoy this Bring a Trailer segment. That said, please join us right after this quick break for Molly's Fast and Fabulous. General tires are race-proven for high-performance handling. Get a set of Generals today and own the road tomorrow. And welcome back to Driver's Talk. Rick Titus, Jay Dalton in our brand new studio, coming to you from Saleen Automotive, and our newest team member. Yeah. We have Molly Saleen here, who will be doing a regular segment called Fast and Fabulous. What do you think, girl?
I love it. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
You know cars.
Yeah.
You manufacture parts.
Yes, I'm heavily involved with all things automotive, from
Right.
racing to manufacturing to,
Yep. And you've
fabricating,
done driving.
everything.
I mean,
Yep.
you've been in stock cars, you've been in road race cars. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you. I
I
appreciate
think it's
that.
going to be a good contribution to the team. We've already given you your first assignment. You went to
The Fabulous Fords Forever show.
good way to kick off.
That was a great show. It's normally held at the Knott's Berry Farm location in the parking lot, and this year
For
it was in
years and
Anaheim.
years they moved.
Yeah. So
They
now
outgrew it. Yep.
it was at the Angel Stadium. So got to see a lot of cool cars, unique cars, a lot of daily drivers too.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that with the right tint. I agree.
But let's go ahead and check it out. I did.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Roll it, Spencer.
Today we're at the Fabulous Fords Forever show, and there are over 2,000 Ford vehicles here, and I'm going to show you each and every one of them. Whew. Let's get started. Wow, clean. Has the original window sticker. How cool is that?
You had to play with that.
I had to
noticed.
do that.
I understand.
Ford
There were some
GTs,
good-looking
always,
Ford
yeah.
GTs
There was a
there.
few there.
I have a 1972 Ford Pinto Hot Pants Boss Pinto. 535 made, there's only 3 left in the country that I know of. It was a California concept, like a California Special Mustang. Boss stripe, like a Boss 302 stripe. And then they had a ground effects kit, which was called a hot pants kit. But other than that, the car was just basically stock. 2-liter motor, 4-speed, the 6 3/4 rear end. Nothing performance about it. Had it since 2003. It was a labor of love. I decided to strip it down, redo all the suspension, rebuild the motor, made it a little bit lower, found some American mags for it, which I had off my old Pinto wagon, had the interior rebuilt, started driving it to car shows.
Oh, now.
Oh, yes, our
you know,
autograph signing.
I'd like to pause it right there, Spence. Molly,
Yes.
we were doing autographs.
Yes. Always.
Jay, have you done autographs on?
I haven't done them recently,
Yeah.
Rick, but Lollipop's the star here.
No, well, it's something that we're going to start here. I think we should
I
all
see.
start
Here
doing
we
autographs.
go.
I think we
Here
should
we
all
go.
start doing them because
Something about
it's
being
a
an
great way to
attractive
talk to all
blonde.
the enthusiasts, and you get to sit down. It's so
That's when I
fun.
was putting fresh fruit in your trailer. So that
Yes.
you remember I
My
wanted.
Star
Did you want
Wagon, you didn't
strawberries?
make sure-
Did you want
yep.
the melon peeled?
You did
I was-
really good.
Thank you. I was picking on her. She gets the star treatment anywhere she goes, so we appreciate that. All right, Spence, we can let
and
it go.
to note here too, I sign autographs much quicker than my dad does.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. This is awesome. A lot of Saleen owners and enthusiasts. This is my favorite part of the show.
Thank you.
All right, bye, guys. So, Deb, can you tell us a little bit about your car?
Yeah, this is a 93 SSP, meaning it's a highway patrol car.
So, is this your daily driver?
Yeah.
Do you love it? Is it fun to drive?
Oh yeah, it's fun to drive. It gets a little squirrely. It's a hot car.
Fabulous Fords Forever is really about real cars
Oh, yeah.
driven
Yeah,
to
this-
the venue.
Oh,
This
100%.
isn't Pebble
This
Beach.
isn't a trailer. Yeah, it's not
This
Pebble
is not a
Beach.
trailer
You
queen
definitely,
show.
yes.
You know?
Everything's still stock on it.
Everything is still stock on it, and they used it as a undercover car.
Okay.
There's holes in the front bumpers where the siren used to be. And then it used to have a antenna up here. Yeah, it still had the telephone dial wheels all the way around.
I love it. There's a ton of cool cars here, but I'm kind of biased towards this one. Look at this one, guys.
Here we
Okay.
go.
You stopped
What's the
when you
name
saw
of this
the
color now, Molly?
Molly Pop Pink.
And to be fair, that car is driven.
Yep.
It's a driver.
Is that a pearlescent pink?
Yes,
There's
so it's a
pearl
candy.
over that.
Yeah, so it's a candy paint, and it has about 30 coats of clear on top of it. So it's a
Fantastic.
very
That would explain
extensive,
the depth,
very
yeah.
extensive. Every
Freaking-
time I park my car, like if we go to a movie or something, I come out, there's always women on my car doing a photo shoot, and I'm like, watch the paint with the jeans. You have to be
become
careful
a
with
selfie
it.
magnet.
But I think more men should get it because honestly, it's such like it attracts so many women to it. So it's kind of a good call, and it's hot roddy.
Yeah,
You
oh.
get that hot roddy feel from
It
it. It's
is.
not just overly girly. You get the hot rod.
In the 70s, that would have been called Moulin Rouge, and you would have had a gold pearlescent coat over the top.
Right.
That's what I
what I
sold
do. Yeah.
In Europe.
This is Molly Pop Pink. She's a 2007 Saleen Mustang, 500 horsepower, and the most amazing paint job you will ever see.
I've been going to this show for about 25 years now. It's my first year bringing this Tiger. A 1966 Sunbeam Tiger. There was only 7,000 of them made in 65, 6, and 7, and probably 2,500 of them left. It's my 5th Tiger that I've owned. When I was younger, I had 4 of them. I fixed them up and sold them. It's got a 302 V8 in it, Boss block, putting out 280 horsepower to the rear wheels. It's just a fun car. You gotta watch what you're doing or you get yourself in trouble. But just a lot of fun.
If you love Fords and you weren't here, you totally missed out.
That was debuted at the show, correct?
And that's a
Right.
Saleen color.
That is
car,
a Saleen.
Or one just
So-
like it just shipped the other day out of here. That's going to be a popular color because that thing stopped traffic.
It did.
Thank you, Molly. That really did turn out well. I know that was a big assignment to cover all those cars.
2,000 cars.
With that said, we're going to step out for now. Look forward to talking to you soon.